What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Momento. AC Momento, your digital sports and concert scrapbook. Download Momento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. Whoops.
That's just hard to say.
Social profile bios, man, it is tricky. But anyway, this week we are catching up on giving our takes on the 2026 MLS schedule drop, previewing MLS Cup this Saturday, and sharing our thoughts on the club's roster decisions heading into the offseason before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Paul Fletes.
And I'm Logan Bartlett.
And as always, G, we got some preheated takes for ourselves and our listeners. So why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
Yeah, I can do that for us. So I have Austin dropping their new away jersey in January, which I believe is early compared to previous years. It's usually like just a couple of weeks before the season starts in February. And this would stay on the theme of quote unquote early drops set by the schedule release, which was, in the middle of the MLS playoffs. I think the whole calendar has been moved a little forward.
Sure.
And we'll see a New Jersey by January 31st or whatever. Yeah, 31st.
Ooh. Can we get a definite 31st? I just want to make sure that when we track this preheated take.
Yeah, I honestly stumbled on that because I forgot how many days were in the month of January and had to double check in my mind of like, is it 31? Shit.
It 31, feels like 31. A 31 year month. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, I think. So
right on.
Yeah, that day. By then.
That's where we're at. There you go. I like it.
Thanks, dude.
Cool. Yeah, I've got a very easy low-hanging fruit because I think in the next episode or two when we go through and tally the number of correct versus incorrect preheated takes, I realize I need to up my good number.
Yeah, dude, you do.
So this is in an effort to do that. But the preheated take is this. So FC Cincinnati has declined Kai Kamara's option for 2026. I believe Austin will not pick him up for next season.
Bro, you know what? I think about 99.99999% of people would agree with you. So I think it's a really safe pick on your part. Definitely not cheating. But it's cool. No,
hey, bro, I'm just telling you that's where it's at.
I got such a hefty lead, bro, that I'll give you that one. I don't even care.
I don't even think it's that hefty, bro. Respectfully, I think you're maybe up by like 3 takes.
All right. Well, then
I'm just trying to
2 after this one, except I got a new one since because, all right, anyway.
All good. Yeah. I do look forward to that episode though, where we go through and see some of the unhinged stuff that we've gone on air saying.
Yeah.
So
next few weeks we'll get to it. For
sure. Well, let's go ahead and kick off the first half, which is the 2026 MLS schedule drop, which the league announced on Thursday, November 20th, which is smack in the middle of all the playoff action. Yeah. And yeah, man. So I think we had a little bit of time to sit with these new dates, figured it would be a good time to kind of catch up, add our opinions to the mix. There's been some really good commentary on all of the dates that have been put forth as this is the final kind of iteration of this current format for the MLS.
Yep.
But I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on the timing of the drop itself. So, Lobar, what are your thoughts on next year's games being released during this year's postseason?
I hinted at this a little bit in the preheated take. It was unanimously early. Everybody that was talking about it was scratching their head thinking, why is this being released in the middle of the second round of the MLS playoffs?
Right.
I think they get some grace because we understand that, in the next 18 months or so, the schedule will completely flip on its head. We're going to be switching to the fall spring format, blah, blah, blah. So they're kind of just saying, F it. Let's just do what we want.
Right.
And I don't know if it's they think that they want to capitalize on eyes during the playoffs. I really don't understand the choice here. It seems like, when your playoffs go so deep into the year and you have, granted, in a pretty abbreviated off season, just like 2 months or so, 2.5 months, you want to save all of the little gems for like engagement throughout those, 10 weeks or so. And so dropping the schedule before round 2 finished up, if I'm not mistaken on the timing, like around round 2 of the playoffs of 4 rounds is a choice. But I would have waited until at least a couple weeks after the playoffs wrapped up for the sake of engagement, fans will still be interested. But it is what it is. We're talking about it, so it works.
This is true.
In some form or fashion, which is cool. Yeah. But I definitely had scratcher.
Yeah, I think part of me was starting to look at it from a navigating the media landscape around like the World Cup, right? Because you think about it, the World Cup draw is about to happen in a few days from when this episode drops.
Yep.
And I think from there on out, it's going to be a lot of just ramping up for the World Cup. And so I'm guessing that, to your point, what you were saying earlier is trying to maximize all the eyes on everything that's MLS centric during the playoffs as it's all coming to a head there. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But without further ado, I think we can go ahead and look into what the league has shared as kind of their quote unquote key dates, which include the MLS is back weekend, which will be February 21st through the 22nd. And I believe that is going to be a LAFC hosting Miami for the marquee match out in California. So I think they're already trying to, put that Son Messi
smart
dichotomy there, which is good for for the league. And then Inter Miami FC open Miami Freedom Park on April 4th, and that is against Austin FC. So we'll talk about that game specifically later on in this half. But after that, we have a FIFA World Cup pause from May 25th to through July 16th. So no footy on my birthday. That's sad, but it is what it is.
Rip.
Then we got MLS action returning on July 16th through the 17th. So I lied. There might be some footy on my birthday. That's cool.
Do some math, bro.
Yeah, my fault. And then the All-Star game will be on July 29th. I can't remember where they said it was going to be hosted for 26. Couldn't care because it's not my city.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we've got Decision Day, November 7th. I believe we're hosting Portland Timbers.
Change the scenery.
Yeah, it'll be nice to host it. I think, what was it, 2 years ago was when we hosted Colorado and won. I think
something like that. Yep. Yeah. Maybe 3 years ago. It doesn't matter.
I'm calling ball on too, but anyway,
Wait, real quick. I'm calling ball back on it. Weren't we in London at that time watching us play away at San Jose?
That was 3 years ago, friend.
24, 25.
25, 24.
Are you talking about last season?
I'm talking about... Yes, bro. I'm talking about last season. Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what I mean, guys. Anyway, it's a Tuesday after work, boys.
Whatever. Keep going.
It is what it is. Anyway, looking at the Verde and Black's slate of 34 league games in 2026, I am disappointed but not surprised at the lack of Chicago Fire in this year's campaign.
True.
I just don't understand how we have yet to face that Eastern Conference foe in our 6 years of existing as a club, but we've played, Toronto 3 times and, DC 4, something like that. It's just silly. But beyond our normal Western Conference travel, remember, we do play every Western Conference team, home and away. And then, on top of that, 2026 is going to offer Verde fans the chance to travel to the following Eastern Conference destinations. We have Bank of America Stadium for Charlotte FC. That match is going to be Saturday, March 7th. The big one here is Miami Freedom Park, Saturday, April 4th. Again, that's Inter Miami. And then the last Eastern Conference away kind of bonus game is BMO Field, Saturday, April 18th, and that's at Toronto FC. So kind of interesting.
East Coast trips,
Yeah. You've got those. We do host 3 other Eastern Conference teams. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I know DC, I think, is coming to town.
True.
Philly, I think, comes to town.
Nashville.
And Nashville. Sounds right.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it. We're so smart, dude.
For sure.
The club also offered their own suggestions of 5 games to circle in 2026. 4 of those being at Q2 and the painfully obvious road match in Florida, of course, the Miami match. We have the home opener, Austin versus Minnesota, on February 21st, a Saturday. We have, of course, the away game at Miami, which is the opener for Miami Freedom Park on April 4th. We have Austin v. St. Louis here in Austin on Sunday, May 3rd. As you mentioned, the Philly home game, Supporter
Mm-hmm.
Shield winning opposition, right, in August. And then lastly, the Open Cup final rematch, Austin versus Nashville on October 10th here in Austin. So we get a good smattering of Eastern Coast or Eastern Conference teams in this 5 games to watch out for
Mm-hmm.
from the club. So I think it's smart on their part to kind of call out those intra-conference matchups there.
For
Um,
sure.
and I think some of those line up with what we have as our games to circle. I don't know if you want to kick us off there, but
Yeah, I mean, I think we both have many as definitely like because I think what we wanted to do here with this exercise was like you come up with 5, I come up with
yeah,
5. See if there's any overlap with what the club had if they were just trying to vibe out or try to extend that selling streak or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it looks like across the board we've got the home opener against Minnesota, so that'll be fun. Always
That's
kicking off the
obvious one.
season.
Yeah.
At Q2 is a must. And then I think we've also both of us have Miami.
Yep.
As that must travel.
Another
that,
obvious. Right.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you're going to go to that? Do you think you're going to try and see
No, dude.
go, dude?
No, I think timing wise, quote unquote. I think timing wise, it is too close to my wedding to swing that. And also I couldn't care less about Miami Freedom Park. So that April 4th date just isn't the vibe for me. I'd rather maybe look at like Toronto a couple weeks later or another game way down the road, Vancouver or something fun. No, I couldn't. The tickets are going to be ridiculous. I'm not going to waste my money on that.
That's fair. Yeah, I do realize that is going to be an insane market. And I'm just
sold out already.
yeah. Honestly, I would recommend Toronto. I had a chance to go up there, not for a game, but just over the I think it was in April also, and the weather there is it's beautiful, and BMO Field, really nice stadium. It's almost kind of similar to Q2 in a way, just the way that it's kind of got that layout of not quite a bowl, but just those high stands and stuff like that. But that seems like one that could work out. Now I think the next game in each of our lists is where we break off. So
yes.
I'll let you go ahead and kick off first. What is your third game of the season to circle?
Yeah, so I have the May 23rd match at St. Louis City as being important, not necessarily because of the matchup, but because of the timing of it, right? So that is the final match before the almost 2-month World Cup and maybe Leagues Cup. I don't know what that plan is, but World Cup plus extended break. And so that's kind of I think in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, most of these guys aren't going to play for going on 2 months from that point on. Can we end it on a high note? Can we end this with some momentum saying, great, we went away at historically a decent opponent for us. Our matchups have been slanted towards St. Louis in the grand scheme. Can we go in and nab a few points in St. Louis before we all break for the next 8 weeks? I think for me, that's a big momentum grabbing match. What about you?
I like it. I'm looking more locally here. I'm looking at the kickoff to Copa Tejas, where Austin hosts Houston on Saturday, April 25th. I'm surprised that from the club standpoint, they didn't try to at least put one of these games between Houston or Dallas as one of those to circle. But I get it. There's a lot more than just what this small little local rivalry has to offer. But I mean, anytime I get a chance to sing the chant, I'm going to take it with full voice. So I've got that match up ahead.
That's fair. For me, I jump a few months down the calendar for my fourth match to circle. It is the September 13th matchup at Vancouver. And so my thinking there is it's an away match at Vancouver. They dunked on us 5-1 last year, or in this season. That's over for us, not for them.
Right.
And they'll be an MLS Cup finalist, right? Now that they're playing the final this weekend. And so I think that's a big match of it's late in the season. Every result matters from this point on. You're getting closer and closer to decision day. And I think that's a big game to prove you can play with the best. And so I'm looking at that match as kind of a redemption game of cool. Last year didn't go so well. This year it's different. We're contending. That's my hope, at least. So that's me. It looks like you have another local matchup for your fourth.
I do, man. I've got us the fourth match here, Dallas versus Austin. So that's the road trip to Frisco. And in quotes, I have win in Dallas, please. On Saturday, September 19th, because we will be entering year 6, where we have yet to secure all 3 points at Toyota Field. And how cool would it be if we did that? If I'm not mistaken, I think their stadium will be complete with the renovations at that point. So even more trucks will be in attendance there when we take all the points in Dallas.
Are they keeping the truck stage?
Brother, I have no idea.
Okay, yeah. I mean, why would we know? But
I wouldn't be surprised if they do. If they just stack on top of each other, bro. Like
they're adding a second stage for more Toyota trucks.
Yeah. But yeah, I've got that one.
Local though, I like that because especially with, like you said, this is the last year of the current rendition of the schedule, and if the divisions idea works out, we'll be even more entrenched with Houston and Dallas, right? With our assumingly geographic region. So I think I like that you're calling it out. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I didn't want to be the one that was like, like I'm only looking at, the rivals, so to speak. But it's like, at the same time, I'm like, no, dude, every year I look at that match in Frisco and I'm like, brother, I hope we can win this one.
Yeah.
Because somehow it eludes us. But I do like your Vancouver shout on the road. I actually have my 5th one being Austin hosting Vancouver, because I have the logic kind of flipped there. It's a big home test against, that MLS Cup quality. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they don't pull a LA Galaxy, the following year of MLS Cup appearance, where they just absolutely are a shell of themselves.
I doubt it.
But I get the feeling that they're gonna continue being, a force, and so that'll be, good late in the season. All of those points matter, like you said, time of consequence, and so, God, man, I just want to beat them every time.
Yeah, I hear that, and their roster's set up to where they'll have a lot of the core guys around, and Berhalter's continue to get better and better, right? Young Seva, and all the Brian White, and obviously Mueller, like he'll still be there. As long as he's there, they'll be competing. So, for me, and I didn't really realize this till we started recording, but I'm just kind of riding the Austin FC's list here. I have the final match to watch out for as Austin hosting Nashville in October.
Heard.
Same reasoning. It's the Open Cup final rematch at home, where we lost almost 12 months to the date later. And I think it's just an important, same reasoning, right? It's a week before your Vancouver game at home. It's a big test against a team that, you had your most, devastating defeat against at home in the Cup final. You want to get that one back. And so I hope we just go out there and dominate, because there'll be a different looking team out in Nashville, and they deserve all of the 3 points that we would take from them. So
True. I like that. So yeah, I mean, it feels like, I don't know, the game that I'm coming away with, like, it feels like it's been touted from the league, from the club, and even we included it in our list, but it's got to be that Miami away day. If you are the type that travels, to the large away days, I recommend, doing whatever you can to try to secure that. I'm sure it's going to be a great time. But I am a hater, turned up to 11 when it comes to Messi and Miami. And so y'all can absolutely take that spot.
For sure. Look, if that game was in June, say, I might be more inclined to go. But like legitimately, I get married 3 weeks before that game. And dude. I will be not caring about that at all. I'll be caring. I'll be watching the game, of course. Time has passed, but I got a honeymoon to go on and stuff. Like, I'm not spending money on a Miami trip to watch us lose to Messi. Fuck that.
I feel that.
Right,
okay.
Anyway.
I feel that. Well, speaking of losing to Messi, I guess now would be a great time as ever to transition into the MLS Cup preview. Where Messi and company absolutely ran riot in the East to host the 2025 MLS Cup final. Not only did they embarrass Cincinnati 4-0 on the road, in the semifinal, but they went and put 5 on NYCFC's Pigeon Forehead in the conference final. I'm not gonna lie, I had to chuckle to myself actually typing that out, but Pigeon Forehead is what happened there.
Yeah.
And on the West, Vancouver showed that they have what it takes to withstand LAFC and a powerhouse expansion side in San Diego FC to match up against Messi and friends. Lobar, I'll keep this short, man. Who had the harder path to the final, Vancouver or Miami?
Yeah, I think my Western Conference bias says Vancouver. I don't know if it's so. I'll set it up this way, right? Like Inter Miami absolutely demolished everybody they played. Cincinnati is a great team. NYCFC is cool, I guess. But San Diego and LAFC were 2 of the hottest teams going into the Western Conference, and I think it was going into the playoffs. I think it was between San Diego, LAFC, and Vancouver to be the favorites there, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they were the top 3 seeds, right? So that makes sense. But I think I'd have to say Vancouver, but Miami did exactly what they were supposed to do and more to get there. They were supposed to dominate teams, and that's what they did, right? So even if it was the premier matchups for Miami and they're playing all the best teams, like they dominated everybody. So they made it look easy, right? So I think it's the nature of which Miami dominated that makes it look easier than Vancouver's path against Son and
for sure
Team out in San Diego and with Dreyer and all those dudes. So I'd say Vancouver, but Miami absolutely demolished everybody and did what they were supposed to. So good for them. That's cool.
Yeah.
Should be exciting. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely is giving this kind of like immovable force, unstoppable object type, situation here. But I mean, to your point there, Miami was outscoring opponents 17-3 this postseason. I mean, they did take their first round all the way to game 3 against Nashville, if I remember correctly. Vancouver took care of Dallas in 2 games. And so I think at that point, it felt like Vancouver kind of had a little bit of a cakewalk, but then it immediately ramped up in difficulty against LAFC. And then San Diego, I mean, they were coming out of nowhere, and so that was good too. But yeah, I think to handle Cincy at home like that, it was wild. I'm not sure if Cincy just kind of wasn't sure. It felt like they were maybe starstruck. I don't know, man, but that was just it was crazy to get embarrassed like that at home, dude. I couldn't imagine. I'd turn around and become a Crew fan at that point, but
just like we're shadow LAFC fans. I get it, bro.
I get it. It happens. But yeah, so some quick stats here just to make sure that we align ourselves properly before calling it for Vancouver here. We have Miami. Yeah, we said outscoring opponents 17-3, winning each of their last 3 games by 4-goal margins. Yeah, that is domination.
Crazy.
MLS Cup will be Miami's 58th game across all competitions in 25, which is a record for most matches for an MLS club in a single season. So, I mean, it is old knees FC a little bit on, going on 58 games in a calendar year. That's going to be a lot, but I think they're going to be at a good point to finish this up.
Yeah.
Like Mascherano, Jesper Sorensen is one of 13 head coaches to reach the MLS Cup in their first year in the league. So whoever said that you need to have experience to dominate in this league,
you need to have good players.
Yeah, you need to have good players, man. You need to have good players and a good bench for sure.
Yeah.
Vancouver's run to the CONCACAF Champions Cup final included a 5-1 aggregate defeat of Inter Miami in the semifinal. So I think Miami is coming in here with a little bit of seeing red.
Yep.
And
they're streaking. They're streaking right now, right? So it's a dangerous cocktail there.
For sure. So with some of those stats and threads there, I'm curious, Lobar, what narrative are you most interested in going into this cup final? Is it just the absolute Messi mania that's continued ever since he set foot in the league? Or are we looking at the dark horse Vancouver that, took their time coming up to this point? Or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it has to be Messi and co for me. This is exactly what MLS wanted and Apple TV wanted when Messi came to the league. He's delivered that kind of single-handedly. Of course, he has a great team, Alba, DePaul.
Good cast around him for sure.
Yeah, good cast, of course. But he's been the guy up top for them since Suarez got in trouble, and started getting suspensions and whatnot. and they stay with him throughout the playoffs, Messi, because he was so successful as a kind of shadow striker, false nine vibe. Anyway, I think it's got to be, can Messi get it done? This doesn't affect his legacy in any single way. Maybe
you don't think so?
Well, so okay, I'll take that back a little bit. If he never wins an MLS Cup, it's a knock on his legacy, right? Because he went to MLS and couldn't even win in the retirement league. But if he wins, it's kind of like, cool, you did what you were supposed to. We're not going to clap for that. Cool, dude, you know? And so I think this is like kind of to save his reputation a little bit and prove that MLS was right and making him the star, right? Can Messi prove MLS right? Is kind of the narrative I'm going for, I guess.
Yeah,
but
that
also
makes sense.
Does this perpetuate the retirement league narrative, right? I know that's been kind of beaten like a dead horse for the entire existence of the league, especially since Beckham and Zlatan and all those dudes started coming over. But it continues to perpetuate that, right? Can 38, 39-year-old Messi show up and win MLS Cup like it was nothing? Suarez, who has half a knee, DePaul, who's sure maybe in his prime kind of age-wise, but, is now playing for Miami. Alba, who's on his last leg, right? All these guys who are retiring at the end of Busquets, of course. So it's kind of perpetuating that retirement league narrative. Will that can persist? Will it give a little bit of benefit of the doubt because it's Messi, so he's going to be great no matter where he is. Regardless, for me, I hate to say it, but it's all about Messi, right? What kind of legacy, narrative, proof, etc. does this create for him and MLS as kind of a partnership? I hope Vancouver wins it, because that would just be really funny, because Vancouver is kind of the antithesis of Miami, outside of the Mueller signing, of course. But
sure,
they've it's a new coach. It's a lot of unknown guys, or just like kind of, well, I'll let you keep talking about it, because I think you have the opposite point. You carry it on from there.
I got you. No, I think the opposite, or the antithesis, is a good way to say that, because I think for me, my storyline that I'm following very closely heading into this Cup final is Vancouver's had Ryan Gauld out, come back from injury just toward the tail end of October. He was out since March, with that ACL, or I can't remember if it was not ACL, sorry, but it was like a nasty knee injury. And then you get, Brian White, good striker, I think 16 goals on the season. He's got a hammy injury that he's just now recovering from, comes back, scores a brace in the, conference final. You love to see it. And I think for this team that I've watched in the Western Conference just slowly kind of reach that boiling point of like, okay, we're up there now. We are contending. It feels like it's been done in a sustainable way also, in terms of how this league is operated, under, you're not splashing a bunch of cash on a Brian White. I mean, yes, he is your DP, but you got him, through, doing business with New York Red Bull. Right. And, you've got Gauld, which is Irish Messi or whatever, but it's or Scottish Messi, I think. Yeah. It's gonna be awesome, man. And then everyone knows, little Seb Berhalter is he's balling out this year in midfield, and so I think if you are an Austin fan, and I hate to make this claim, but it's like you want to go for these guys, and I don't know, man. Everyone knows me as the hater. I'm happy to wear that crown, but it's like I'm kind of tired of seeing so much of that ball in pink, bro. Like I want to see. I just want to see Jadon Nelson come on at minute 68 and absolutely just zoom down the left and just pop one in past Rios Novo or whatever. And that's it. It's a 1-0
or whatever. I love it, bro.
Yeah, bro. And like, I want that chaos. I want it for real. Everyone's going to be saying it's Miami, but I need it to be Vancouver, bro.
Bro said down with MLSE, bro. He doesn't want any of that.
I don't. I really don't, bro.
We're done. Fair enough. No, I appreciate that. I think either way, either narrative is fun for me. So I'm happy with it.
For sure.
It'll be a fun watch. We'll tell people when the game is.
Yeah, man. So we've got the MLS Cup final being streamed on Apple TV this Saturday, December 6th at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. And I know we have predictions here. You
Mm-hmm.
said you want Vancouver to win. Do you care for a score line?
I want them to win. So for that, I'll say 3-2 Vancouver. But I think either way, the score is going to be 3-2, whoever wins. I think there's no shutouts here. No, Miami
Yeah,
gets
I
no more
agree. I agree.
shutout.
There will be goals. There will
Yeah.
be goals. I like that. I think that 3-2 will be the vibe, because you're not gonna stop them from putting goals
Mm-mm.
in. You just got to get more than them.
Yeah, you got to outscore.
So
I agree.
yeah, man, I like that. Well, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna have a look at Austin FC's roster decisions and where that leaves them for this offseason, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So, Austin made quick work of their roster decisions following their exit from the postseason this year. So, figured, we would continue on catching up and having a look at those reactions to the decisions and how that leaves the roster heading into the offseason. So, this is taken straight from the press release from the club here. It says Austin FC has exercised the 2026 contract options of Stephen Cleveland, Danny Pereira, and Riley Thomas. In addition, the option for Brendan Hines-Ike was automatically exercised based on performance metrics during the 25 season. Hell yeah, Brendan.
Hell yeah,
and
Brendan.
then Ilie Sanchez agreed to a new contract with the club, signing a deal guaranteed through the end of the 26 season with an option for 27. Austin FC declined the 26 contract options of Julio Cascante, Jimmy Farkaloon, and Diego Rubio. So let's just jump right into this, Lobar.
Yep.
Do you have any big surprises from this year's roster culling, or does everything seem exactly according to your plan?
A few surprises, and I don't want to steal all of them. So I'm going to start first with the option declined.
Okay.
I was surprised to see Diego Rubio's option declined.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if not even. Well, I guess we do. Diego posted on Instagram, kind of spoiling it a day or two in advance, saying, thank you for your time, thank you, Austin, blah blah, which immediately for me signaled that there was no contract negotiation happening. There was no new contract. He's gone.
Yeah, it
I
was
was
just
surprised to see that. I think the Ilie new contract, declining his or renegotiating his contract to be more club friendly. That's what I expected for guys like Ilie and Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be happy with that. So I was surprised to see that. I'll start there. I'll hand it back to you, but I have more, so we can go back and forth here.
Sure. Yeah, I think for me, the biggest surprise, and I'm sure we'll be able to talk about this, is Stephen Cleveland. I think in terms of our keeper situation, it only makes sense, and I think other folks have already spoken about this a little bit, but if we're trying to capture that leverage that he has, or any kind of value that he'd be worth trading to, or moving on internally within the league, that makes sense. But if we're also keeping Damian Loss, it just, again, I scratch my head at that.
Yeah.
Because we're locking up a senior roster spot, right? Which is kind of hampering that flexibility.
Yep.
And I think there's one more there, unless you want to talk about this with the
I'll
Ilie
add
thing.
to that. Similar. That was one of the few that I was going to highlight, was the Cleveland signing. I think he's great. I think he's probably one of the top 3 backups in the league in terms of quality.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think, if we don't sell him to a club, I'm confused, right? And we don't need to go into too much depth, but like you said, we brought back Loss. Maybe we're going to be loaning him out. Maybe we're going to be selling Cleveland, and that will solve that issue. But I think the point of the senior roster spot being taken by a backup goalkeeper that's making too much money is surprising, when we have Brad Stuver, who we just re-signed, who is an all-star, who is a goalkeeper of the year candidate, and has only missed 3-4 games in his entire career in Austin, right? So it's kind of like, well, what are we doing here when we have so many positions of need that we should be addressing with these spots? So I agree on the surprise there. If we do make some, big brain move and sell them for money and make a nice little bag off of it,
sure,
I'll shut up. But in the meantime, what, so
yeah,
keep going.
Yeah. And I think that also kind of is how I feel when we look at the Sanchez new contract, which kind of locks him up for the end of the 26 season with an option for 2027. Because in my head, I was like, okay, I can only see this working if we do exactly what we did with Diego Rubio with Ilya Sanchez, where we sign a club-friendly supplemental, roster spot situation where it's like he's still on, he's giving us that great leadership in the locker room. But we're not locking up a senior roster spot there.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing with this 1+1 here. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking only because I'm thinking about the likes of, Dubrsarski, who we're trying to like develop also. And we do have some competency still in the midfield with, Pereira that we just re-signed and all that stuff.
Sabovic, sure.
Sabovic, I said competency, G, and I'm not quite there with Sabo yet, but I do hope that he's still on the team, and I hope that we can see a little bit more from him. Otherwise, we're a little sunk. But yeah, man. So just looking off of that, I mean, let's look at the options that were exercised. I mean, Heinz no disagreement there. Brother was a lock in a solid defense.
Yeah, I think the only surprise for me there was that there was an automatic option clause, I guess if you want to call it that, which was a big talking point on the Emiliano Rigoni contract, and a reason why he was cut when he was because it would have automatically triggered that automatic clause. So I said automatic, but point being is I was surprised to see that was a thing in the Roto era when there was so much. But he might have trailed the very beginning, or I don't remember. It doesn't matter. It was just surprising to see that that's still a thing. Luckily, Heinz more than surpassed whatever that expectation probably was, and he's been good for us. So I wanted to sign him anyway. Just surprised to see that in a Roto team.
Yeah, I think the clause there is probably just to kind of incentivize that performance. Whatever happened there to get him to the level of form that he was in over the course of the season, I'm here for it. I will be singing a different tune if that number is way too high, for my opinion. Come spring when those salaries are dropped. But I think he was a solid center back for us this year.
Yeah. I wonder. Part of my confusion with that is the Leo Väisänen situation, how that was handled early in the season.
Sure.
Having a guy who was assumed to be a backup when you have Svatak, when you have Väisänen, when you have Julio coming out of the 2024 season, you assume BHI is probably a depth piece. Having him have a automatic exercising option was interesting.
Sure.
In the context of last offseason going into beginning of this year with three national team center backs on the roster with Svatak, Leo, and Cascante. It was just interesting in that very, very, very long distance hindsight, it very much worked out. So I'm not mad at it. Just an interesting thing that stood out.
Yeah, no, I like that. So I think where that leaves the roster, just in terms of spots available here, it looks like we only have 2 senior spots available heading into the off season. No international spots available unless we get some green card movement, but I'm not hearing any kind of rumblings of that. We have 1 U22 initiative slot available, and because we have 3 DPs, I think we do have the flexibility to sign 1 more because we're on that 3 and 3. Is that correct? Have to be.
Yes, for U22s. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise we would have done the 2 and 4 situation. But yeah, so that said there, I guess this is a good little segue into our first little rumors of the offseason, which is the linking to former Seattle Sounders center back, now free agent John Bell. According to, oh my gosh, where's the tweet there? I believe Nico, I can't see the last name here, but
Nico Moreno.
Yeah, there you go. Nico Moreno, who follows the Sounders there, has him saying that John Bell might be landing at either Chicago Fire or Austin FC. So I just think that's an interesting connection to be linked with there, primarily because our CB depth is, I will say it's good, but we did just lose Cascante.
Yeah.
But
It
I don't
seems.
know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me because in my mind, looking at the roster as it is now, we have 3-ish roster spots available.
Mm-hmm.
Center back and striker were like obvious ones for me after Julio and Diego got cut. We need another depth guy. We need our new BHI, right? A new third, fourth string guy who can
Sure.
spot start with injury, whatever. I think John Bell is the right profile there, especially
Okay.
as given that he'll likely make very little money compared to Julio.
Right.
So it makes sense to look for a guy like that, kind of a rotation spot starter, MLS vet who
Sure.
hopefully doesn't have that much of an injury history. So that makes sense to me. But again, we just have so few roster spots that it's like, you really got to pick and choose here the quality you're getting.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get it. But, do you look for another fringe national team kind of guy from abroad, like a Svatak or a Väisänen,
Mm-hmm.
who's not on a TAM deal? I don't know, because this worked out for us. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Center back wise, it has. I'd say from a
specifically
international stand. I mean, because then we've also got Djordjevic,
yeah, that's a great
up
point.
there too. So I don't know. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I liked what I saw, when he had those few moments in the second half of the season. So I wouldn't be pressed to like get too excited about this link here, but it is, just rumor at this point. It just
makes sense for me that we would sign a guy like a John Bell. Could be any profile of 30-something-year-old center back who has solid MLS appearances. But
for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I think for any one John Bell, there's probably like 10 more like him across the league right now as we enter the off season. But
yeah, we'll get into this more in future episodes. But looking around the league at the roster decisions, there's a bunch of John Bells out there at center back who could use a job, like a Daniel Steres or any number of guys who don't make too much money and can be useful off the bench. Yeah. So John Bell's a little younger, which I appreciate. So anyway, sure. I wanted to call out again, this is beyond the rumors, but the Riley Thomas re-signing, I'm not mad at it, but it's one of those decisions where it's like, okay, if we're keeping Riley Thomas around, that probably means we're not going to sign another fullback, which is a position of potential depth depending on what we do with John Gallagher, And sure. So again, I'm not mad at it, but it's definitely somebody when we have a John Gallagher on the roster who can play anywhere and has been extremely competent, if not very good at left back, right back. That's kind of an option where maybe you let him go and you take a swing at like a striker or a forward out of college and see if he can do something because we have no healthy strikers on the team right now. Right. So that's just a thought. Because again, I want to go back to the point I made of like, I expect at minimum one center back and one striker being signed this offseason with two of these three positions or roster spots available. And so it's one of those things of like, well, do you take a shot at another Jimmy Farkerloon or another CJ Fodry type player who could maybe spot in as a bench player behind Uzuni for the first 2 months? And you look at, what was Homeboy's name in Atlanta? Or I'm sorry, in Orlando? Duncan something, maybe.
Oh, McGuire?
Yeah. Wasn't he a college player that they signed?
Super draft kid. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that sounds right.
You look for somebody that's just a prolific scorer who's not maybe the most highly touted, but somebody that just will shoot the fucking ball,
Right.
That's one of those positions of like, you could get value there that's more useful, at least early in the season, and then address, another depth defender later in the season if needed once BV9's back. I don't know. Just a random thought, but I'm not mad at it. So let's keep it moving.
I hear that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I still go back to the point of a few weeks ago where I was like, man, I desperately want a TAM level MLS vet, like playmaker in the midfield.
Of course.
At a minimum, man, because like we desperately need that in the chance creation.
I agree.
But I do like your points there in terms of like, our striker depth suddenly feels like it's not where it should be. Yeah.
We have CJ
House of Cards
healthy, I guess, who's been the spot striker this season. But
right. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think there's going to be too much though, because if we've seen Roto enough at this point that we know he's not going to just jump right on the first available signing. He is very methodical in that way. So it could be one of those things where we are heading into match day 1 with a potential, vacancy in the roster, but
it's also the final point I'll bring up is the buyout piece. Like do we have a one more buyout this season technically? Or do we have 2? We may have more buyouts, and I don't know if the deadline is like now, if we can still count like the 2025 buyouts before the 2026 buyouts.
That's actually a really good question. Yeah.
So like we could see an O'Brien or somebody like that potentially be bought out to make space for another player. So there's more to be done, of course. So this isn't set in stone by any means, but I'm curious on that front. Like where does the buyout turnover start between this current season and the next season?
Yeah, that's valid.
We could use one.
Because we're not getting Ozuni.
No, exactly. Anyway, shall we get to stoppage?
Let's do it, man. So keeping on the Austin FC train, we've got Austin FC Academy midfielder Irvin Torres signing a homegrown supplemental contract through 2028 with option for 29. So I think he just solved our midfield problem right there.
Right there. Yeah, I mean, does that mean Micah Burton's going to get playing time next year?
I do hope that for not just for Burton's sake, but I think for our sake, we see a little bit more of Micah in a first team, because like at this point it's been 3 seasons, where we've heard his name being on that bubble.
Yep.
We need to be able to see some kind of proof that the academy is helping him and that Austin FC too is developing him to make it to that first team. So I would love to be able to see that.
We can't have Loss, Burton, and Torres all on supplemental roster spots, and none of them are playing. Boom. We need to have at least one of them. Like if Loss is going to be loaned out again, we need Burton to play so that Torres can sit on the bench and play for Austin FC too, assuming that's going to happen. Yeah. I think that has to happen for the sake of, we need to maximize these spots.
Yeah. We gotta do some homework, G, where I think we look at, like a Seattle or like a Philly, where they just have depth. Yeah. Dallas too, where it's, they reach into that supplemental, roster designation and they get some production out of those players. But, I think that's good for Irvin. It's a good shout for the academy. So heading back to the point, but moving on to the next point over in NWSL, since we didn't get a chance to cover this as it happened, but Gotham FC won the 2025 NWSL Championship Final after Rose Lavelle struck in the 80th minute against the Washington Spirit. Shout out. Gotham.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Underdogs, my ass type beat.
Yeah.
Hashtag year, whatever they say, Yep.
No, it was that was what we were talking about in the last episode, was like, can they make it all the way? The 8th seed underdog throughout, never hosted a home game, all playoffs, but they won the chip. They won the cup just in the last couple of years, So
yeah,
I was Team Spirit due to pedigree, but damn, bro. Rose Lavelle shoved her dirty socks down into my mouth to tell me to shut up. She said, "Nah, dude, we got this."
Yeah.
Shout out Gotham. I mean, it's an incredible run. Is that the first time that's happened in WSL? Possibly.
That's a good question. Actually, I'm not too sure. Are you saying in terms of like the 8th seed just kind of going all the way on the road?
And that's not a normal thing in professional sports. That doesn't happen often, if at all.
For sure.
Shout out to him.
Hell yeah, man. Well, looking at the other side, over in the MLS, we have former Columbus Crew manager Wilfred Nancy. He apparently is having a little bit of a delay to his arrival in Celtic, and that is due to some paperwork. Brother, you always got to make sure that you're dotting those I's, crossing those T's.
They'll make every news outlet says it's happening this week. Yesterday, 5 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 4 hours ago, like it's all confirmed.
It's hilarious because you hear about the interim manager over there that's like, yeah, man, I was supposed to be done like last week or whatever.
Right. They have to have somebody here.
but we'll go ahead and take care of that. So
yeah,
I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's just another MLS hurdle. Just the way of MLS.
Always, bro.
Gotta make things a little difficult.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Wilfred Nancy leaving the league? or
it was, from what I understand, it was always supposed to happen from
Yeah.
when he re-signed with Columbus Crew, or signed with them. He's like, hey, I want the flexibility to move to Europe because I know I'm him, and I'll make sure we're competing. And he did his thing,
bars?
roster or not. Like they competed with stars and without them. So
True.
he knew his potential and he knew his worth, and he capitalized on it. So I'm happy for him. That's going to be a crazy place to go, for so many reasons. So that's, what a shock, for Wilfred Nancy
sure.
to head out to Scotland and just hold it down for one of the most contentious clubs and club rivalries in the world, as a black man. So shout out to it. That's
Hell yeah, brother.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, going back to the ladies, we have the U.S. women's national team closing out the calendar year with 12 wins, following 2 victories over Italy in this most recent and last international window of 2025. Katarina Macario, dude, Chelsea FC, you love to see it.
Yes, sir.
She was on that scoreboard both times. It was just, man, yeah, Italy was kind of oof.
Yeah, the national team is going to get done, though. 12 wins. Emma Hayes, she knows what she's doing. We've said it time and time again. I don't even worry about the women's national team. I just check the score and say, yeah, that's what I thought. Keep it moving,
Hell yeah, dude.
So it's a perfectly running machine right now, that team is. So
it's wild because it has, yeah, you're right. It's maintained that dominant level. But even when there is a little bit of a hiccup, I mean, it takes nothing but a little lever pull here and a little belt check there. And it's back to, all greens. And shout out Emma, who's doing a great job developing, at the youth levels as well, bringing in those younger players to get some more caps. Just love to see it, man. Love to see it.
Yep.
Looking more locally again at the league level, we have Tadeo Allende netting a hat trick in Miami's 5-1 routing of NYCFC. Again, that's that pigeon forehead type beat. They host Vancouver in MLS Cup Saturday, December 6th. I just try to be anti-Messi here because he did not get the hat trick. Allende got the hat trick, so he's,
Yeah, it's one of those names. I didn't really follow Miami closely for all the reasons. We don't play them ever, so it just wasn't really anything that I worried about. But he's a guy, when you look him up, like, oh yeah, I know that name, I guess, just because I see Miami dominating. You're like, oh shit, he had 19 goals and 2 assists. Like, their third, fourth best player on paper, scoring like half as many goals as our entire team, in Austin. So it's one of those things of just like, oh shit.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy. They're blessed out in Miami. So
they really are, man. They really are.
Yeah.
But you know who's also blessed, G?
Chelsea.
That's right, man. Chelsea FC dominated a lackluster Barcelona 3-0 at the Bridge in midweek UCL play. And they were able to salvage a point against league leaders Arsenal following a 1-1 draw at home with 10 men, mind you.
Yep.
Whew.
All I got to say is Esteval over Yamal. Like, who even is that kid, bro?
All day, every day. Yeah.
Every day. Like, legitimately, I actually mean that. I'm not kidding. That's not me talking shit. Like, actually, though.
No, for sure. No, we got the Wonder Kid, no doubt.
Exactly. Yeah. This wasn't
even
no one
ever talks about Endrick anymore, bro.
Exactly, bro. This wasn't even a big game for Barcelona. They knew they were going to get their ass spanked, so they just didn't even care. Yeah, I respect it. Honestly. I do the same.
And I get it. He's got a groin injury, blah blah blah, whatever, bro. I'm sorry.
Like 12, bro. You're
gonna get cooked by a cuckoo.
Yes, sir.
And you're gonna like it.
Yep. Yes, sir. And then the draw at Arsenal, I'm not worried about it. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I followed up on the highlights and talked with the boys. And down 10 men, Caicedo gets a silly red card. Like, I'm not even worried about it. We're good.
Yeah. There was a funny tweet somewhere that was circulating talking about, Moy, I know you needed the rest, but please don't do that again.
Just get
I had a
out.
chuckle.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the fact that we were able to hold, a strong Arsenal side, 1-1, we were able to come back strong in the second half, down to man, Chalaba header.
Yeah, beautiful.
You love to see it, but yeah, they were gonna do their best to equalize, but we were able to keep them off from securing all three, and so.
Yeah. And I'll mention this just because it's not written down. The very last point, the Longhorns, Texas Longhorns, got their in the last game, regular season game for them. They put belt to
whooped up
ass.
on Lil Bro.
Yes, sir. Another year, same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been 16 years now? How many years since my A&M's won a game?
Right.
Probably more than that. Yeah, just normal shit. We'll see the college football playoff standings come out in the next soon. So in the next so.
soon, bro. Yeah. I get the feeling that it's not going to happen the way we want it to, but you know what? I can sleep peacefully knowing that we were still able to overcome that hiccup at Florida and just absolutely go on that tear at the end of the season, all culminating at, in Austin, beating A&M.
Yep.
Absolutely taking a dumpo on their SEC final, championship hopes. And that's tough, bro. Have fun in the playoffs with that little skid mark on your record, bro. 11-1. Have fun.
Hey, and we might be there too. You never know. Could be.
And if we are, hey, that's awesome, man. I'm here for it. But I'm seeing too many trolls telling me that my 3-loss team shouldn't even catch a sniff. And you know what? It is what it is.
It is what it is, bro.
But yeah, as always, y'all, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Paul Fletes. You can find me at Paul and UFC. That's a government name.
And I'm Logan Bartlett. Catch me on Twitter at LobarVHLM.
And as always, keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. And if you can, consider leaving a review, like, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. That is an episode, y'all. Peace.
As always, peace. Oh, why are you screaming at me?
Oh, my God.